A Dark Night for Bert, written by the Buried Truck. The island of Sodor has many beautiful places. There are fields of green, white sandy beaches, and cozy villages. All the edges love passing through the picturesque landscape. There is one place, however, that the engines avoid: the smelters. The air seemed to grow cold as the sounds of snorting machines whirled all around. Worst of all, the line side was littered with rows of rusted cars, trucks, and engines. The smelters were run by two menacing diesels, Ari and Bert. They take great pleasure in their work and never miss a chance to taunt the engines. "Don't get too close to the cutter's torch," they would sneer. "They might just cut you up on sight." The engines knew Sir Topham Hatt would never scrap them, but all the same, Ari and Bert's teasing chilled them to the boiler. One cold night, the diesels were idling outside the smelter shed. They had finished their work and were ready to retire to their shed. A low mist hung over the yard, and the echoes of the smelting machines danced in the air. "Another good day's work behind us, eh?" rumbled Ari. "Couldn't be better," oozed Bert. Their conversation was interrupted by an unfamiliar horn. Through the mist, a long, slender diesel slunk into the yard. A line of trucks groaned behind him. "Hello," greeted Ari. "What can we do for you?" "Evening," grunted the diesel. "Special delivery for you." He motioned to the flatbed behind him. Ari and Bert could make out the shape of a rusted old steam engine. Its cab and bunker had deteriorated so much they could see its corroding controls and firebox. Well, smirked Ari. "This is my kind of surprise." "They're clearing on an old mine on the mainland," replied the diesel, "and found this old wreck tangled in the weeds. Must have been forgotten when the mine closed. Scrapyards of the other railway are at capacity," he finished, "so I was told to bring it here on my goods delivery tonight." "Well, thank you very much," chuckled Ari. "I'll show you to the fuel pump. But move that old rust bucket into the shed." Bert didn't like being bossed around, but he complied as Ari and the diesel rolled away. He grumbled as he dragged the heavy flatbed into the glow of the smelter shed. "Stupid Ari," he growled. "He could have brought this rubbish in here." As he rolled along, the old steam engine creaked and groaned. It almost sounded like laughter. Bert pulled it into place, then rolled alongside. "Who's got the last laugh now?" he sneered. "Useless old kettle." "Is that what you think of me?" Bert ground to a halt. For the first time, he saw the front of the old engine. Its face was smudged and dirty, and its eyes were weary. "I'm far from useless." "Pah!" snorted Bert. "Another steamer in denial. You're past it. Diesels are the way forward. There's no need for you now." "And what happens when you become outdated?" Bert scoffed. "Never gonna happen." "I used to be just like you," sighed the engine. "I was delivered to the old mine with everyone telling me how powerful I was. That ancient engine before me, on his last wheels when I came, I laughed at him when I arrived." "Not in your prime anymore, eh, old-timer?" "You wouldn't have work if it hadn't been for me," he coughed. "This mine was built on my steam." "And now you've no more left to give." Stand aside and let the new engines take charge. The engine sighed. Look at me now. I was invincible. Then the diesels came. I got a taste of my own medicine then. He stared coldly at Bert. You are modern, but for how long? What will happen to you when a more efficient engine is built? That'll never happen, Bert spluttered. Deny it all you want, replied the engine, but I stand before you as proof of it. Time will go on and you will be replaced. Bert was silent. The words sent chills through his frames. Perhaps you should show more kindness toward engines at their end. We've done our fair share of work. We just want to go in peace without your mockery and sneering. Now go. I'd like to revel in some of that peace I'm deserving of. Bert said nothing. He was deeply affected by the engine's words, but he didn't want to show it. He continued to sneer as he rolled out of the smelter shed. Ari was waiting for him. The beat diesel had gone with his goods train, and the fog was beginning to lift. Where have you been? Ari growled. And who are you talking to in there? Stupid old steamer, barked Bert. Trying to tell me I'll be out of date one day. Ari stared blankly. How did you talk to it? Bert looked back. As the doors of the smelter shed began to close, he saw no face on the engine, only a rusted smoke box door. Bert was in disbelief. The shed door shut with an unsettling thud. All that exhaust must have got to you, Ari cackled. Oh, shut up, snapped Bert. He rolled off to their shed without another word. Bert is a different engine now. While still menacing, he no longer taunts the steam engines with threats of scrap. He is silent whenever he goes into the smelter shed, for he is thinking of the spectral old engine. I think its words will follow Bert for a long time. Don't you?
There once was an engine who ran away, just up and went, ran away,